There's a home loan in Washington that needs zero down payment, and you don't have to have served in the military to use it. Most people never hear about it. And the thing that decides whether you qualify isn't your credit score, it's your income, but not the way you'd expect. I'm Brad Haynes, a Washington mortgage loan originator. I work with first-time buyers and people rebuilding their credit. This program is the single biggest door I open for buyers who thought a down payment put a house out of reach. So let me show you how it actually works. It's a loan program backed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA. That's the name that throws people off because it makes it sound like it's for farms. It isn't. Zero down payment. No military service required. Open to regular civilian buyers. The trade-off is that it only works on certain properties, and there's a ceiling on how much you can earn. Those two things, where and how much, are the whole ballgame. The maps are drawn by the USDA, and they're a lot more generous than rural sounds. Here in Washington, eligible areas include towns you've absolutely driven through: Sultan, Arlington, Granite Falls, Enumclaw, North Bend, parts of Snohomish, King, Pierce, Skagit, Kitsap, Thurston, and Island counties. These are towns with good walkability scores, parks, grocery stores, coffee stands, cafes, and nice high schools. Not farmland. Here's the part most people get wrong though. Eligibility is decided address by address, not town by town. One side of a street can qualify and the other side can't. So my friend said Arlington works isn't an answer, the specific house is the answer. I check addresses for free all day long and it takes about a minute. Now the income ceiling, which is where this gets counterintuitive. On almost every other loan, more income is better. Here, there's a cap. Earn above it and you're out, not because you can't afford the house, but because the program is designed for low to moderate income households. For the Seattle, Tacoma, Bellevue area, that's King, Snohomish, and Pierce counties, the current limit is about $179,050 a year for a household of 1 to 4 people, and about $236,350 for households of 5 to 8. Other counties have their own numbers, and they change year to year, so always check the current one. Now, 3 things about that number that trip people up. 1, it's household income, not borrower income. This is the big one. It counts the income of adults living in the home, not just the people on the loan. Adult kid living at home with a job counts. Parent moving in counts. People get surprised by this constantly. 2, it's an adjusted number. There are deductions that can bring it down for dependents, for childcare, for certain medical expenses, for household members who are elderly or have a disability. So if your gross income looks a little over the line, you are not necessarily out. That's worth an actual conversation. 3, that ceiling is higher than most people assume. $179,050 is not a small income. A lot of buyers hear low to moderate income program and count themselves out before they ever ask. 2 people each earning $80,000 are still under it. Here's what I'd want to know if I were you. It has to be your primary residence. This is not for rentals or vacation homes. There's a guarantee fee, both upfront and annually. The upfront piece can usually be rolled into the loan, but it's a real cost and you should see it in writing before you decide anything. And zero down doesn't mean $0. There are still closing costs, and you still have to qualify on credit and debt to income like any other loan. Zero down solves the down payment problem. It doesn't solve every problem. Also, and I'll say this plainly, the property has to be in good condition. It gets appraised against real standards. A fixer that needs work may not fly. So if you've been assuming you need 20% or even 3.5%, and that's what's keeping you renting, it's worth finding out whether the address you like qualifies and whether your household is under the limit. Both of those are free to check, and neither one requires an application. Send me an address, I'll tell you yes or no. And if you're a real estate agent with a listing in one of those towns, same offer. I'll verify the address and you'll know what to tell buyers at your next open house.